The factory floor is buzzing. Boeing workers in St. Louis are cheering. China just flew a sixth-generation fighter nobody saw coming. And the U.S. Air Force just confirmed something that changes everything. The F-47 is being built right now, and it's racing against time. December 26, 2024, while Americans celebrated the holidays, a mysterious aircraft appeared over Chengdu. No warning, no announcement, just a massive tailless stealth jet that stunned military analysts worldwide. 3 weeks ago, the Pentagon fired back with a bombshell announcement that has Beijing watching closely. September 2025, Air Force Chief of Staff General David Alvin stood before a packed conference room and said 5 words that sent shockwaves through the defense community. "We are building it now. Not planning, not designing, building." The first F-47 sixth-generation fighter is already taking shape on the production line, and its first flight is locked in for 2028. This isn't just another fighter jet program. This is America's answer to a direct challenge from China, and the stakes couldn't be higher. For the first time since World War II, the United States faces a real competitor in the race for air superiority, and this time, that competitor has a head start. If you believe America still builds the world's best fighters, drop a comment below and let us know. Your support matters more than you think. The shock that changed everything. Let's go back to that December morning. It was Mao Zedong's birthday, a date China loves for symbolic military reveals. Suddenly, videos started flooding Chinese social media. A giant aircraft, unlike anything seen before, was making low passes over Chengdu. No vertical tail. 3 engines, a flying wing design that looked like it came straight out of a science fiction movie. Military spotters scrambled to capture footage. Within hours, those videos were being analyzed by defense experts across the globe. The aircraft bore the number 36011 on its fuselage. Following Chinese military naming conventions, analysts immediately dubbed it the J-36. And just to make sure the world was watching, on the exact same day, another revolutionary fighter, the J-50, flew from a different facility. This wasn't a leak. This was a statement. Frank Kendall, then the Air Force Secretary, was asked about it days later. His response was measured but telling. He acknowledged that China's progress was expected, but he also made something clear. This changes the calculation. Kenneth Wilsbach, head of Air Combat Command, was more direct. He called for the next-generation air dominance program, what we now know as the F-47, to move forward immediately. Here's what made the J-36 so alarming. It's massive. Analysts estimate it weighs between 50 and 60 metric tons, closer to a bomber than a traditional fighter. It has a side-by-side cockpit, meaning 2 crew members working together. One flies, the other manages electronic warfare, coordinates drone swarms, and controls weapon systems. It's not just a fighter. It's a flying command center designed to control the battlefield from the air. The 3-engine configuration is almost unheard of in modern fighters. Most use 2 engines for balance and efficiency, but 3 engines mean one thing: raw power. The J-36 can carry enormous fuel loads, giving it range that could dominate the vast distances of the Pacific. Its internal weapons bays can hold up to 8 long-range missiles, and its tailless blended wing design, that's optimized for staying invisible to radar while cruising at supersonic speeds without using afterburners. But here's the part that really got Washington's attention. This wasn't just a prototype. The Chinese weren't hiding it. They flew it over public highways. They let people film it, and they kept flying it. March, April, May, all through 2025. Each flight revealed more details, better angles, clearer images. China was sending a message: we're not just catching up anymore, we might be ahead. America strikes back, March 21, 2025. President Donald Trump walked into a room full of reporters and defense officials. What he said next made headlines around the world. Boeing had won the contract to build America's first sixth-generation fighter. The aircraft would be called the F-47, honoring both the legendary P-47 Thunderbolt from World War II and the 47th president himself. But Trump dropped another detail that caught everyone off guard. The F-47 had already been flying in secret for 5 years. That's right. While the public debated whether the next-generation air dominance program was even moving forward, Boeing and Lockheed Martin had been flight testing experimental X-planes since 2019. 2 full-scale demonstrators had logged hundreds of flight hours. They'd been testing the engines, the stealth coatings, the avionics, the weapons integration, everything. The groundwork was already done. Now Boeing wasn't starting from scratch. They were scaling up proven technology into a production fighter, and they wasted no time. By September, just 6 months after winning the contract, they'd already begun manufacturing the first F-47 airframe. General Alvin's announcement wasn't just about schedules and timelines, it was a declaration. America wasn't going to let China own the future of air combat. So what exactly is the F-47? The details are still classified, but here's what we know. It's a twin-engine, tailless design, likely using canards for control. It will fly faster than Mach 2 and have a combat radius exceeding 1,000 nautical miles. That's roughly 25% more range than current fighters. Its stealth capabilities will be a generation ahead of the F-22 and F-35, with reduced radar and infrared signatures across all angles. But the real revolution isn't just the jet itself, it's what comes with it. The F-47 is designed from day one to operate with Collaborative Combat Aircraft, CCAs. These are autonomous drones that fly as loyal wingmen. They can scout ahead, jam enemy radars, serve as decoys, or deliver precision strikes, all while being controlled by the pilot in the F-47. Imagine a single pilot commanding a small fleet of unmanned aircraft, overwhelming enemy defenses through sheer numbers and coordination. The Air Force plans to buy at least 185 F-47s, matching the number of F-22 Raptors ever built. But they're also planning for over 1,000 CCAs to support them. It's not just about having a better fighter, it's about changing the entire concept of air warfare. Before we go any further, take just a second to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch without subscribing, and it costs you nothing, but helps us tremendously. Let's keep bringing you the content you love. Just one click makes all the difference. The technology showdown. Now, let's talk about what makes these jets so different from anything we've seen before. Both the F-47 and J-36 represent a fundamental leap in how fighters are designed and used. Start with the engines. The F-47 is expected to use adaptive cycle engines developed by General Electric and Pratt & Whitney. These aren't your typical jet engines. They can change their internal airflow in real time, switching between fuel-efficient cruising and maximum thrust combat modes. This gives the F-47 incredible range without sacrificing speed or power when it needs to fight. China's J-36 uses the WS-15 engines, each generating around 18 tons of thrust. 3 of them together give the aircraft massive power, but it also means higher fuel consumption. That's why the J-36 is so large. It needs the fuel capacity to match its engine appetite. Reports also suggest China has been testing adaptive cycle engines that could push speeds up to Mach 4. Then there's stealth. Both aircraft use advanced materials and designs to minimize radar signatures, but they approach it differently. The F-47's smaller size and twin-engine layout prioritize agility and rapid response. It's built for high-intensity dogfights in contested airspace where every second counts. The J-36's massive size and blended wing body prioritize endurance and survivability over long distances. It's designed to penetrate deep into enemy territory, stay there for extended missions, and control large areas of airspace. The cockpit designs tell you everything about their missions. The F-47 likely has a single pilot, backed by AI systems that handle everything from threat detection to drone coordination. The goal is to reduce pilot workload so much that one person can manage what used to require an entire strike package. The J-36's side-by-side seating puts two operators in the cockpit, one flying, one managing the battle. And here's where it gets really interesting. Both programs are betting heavily on artificial intelligence and autonomous systems. The F-47's CCA drones aren't remote-controlled toys. They're AI-powered aircraft capable of making tactical decisions on their own. The pilot sets the mission parameters, and the drones execute. They can adapt to threats, coordinate with each other, and even sacrifice themselves if it means protecting the manned fighter. China is pursuing the same concept with their Loyal Wingman program. The J-36 is expected to control swarms of drones, overwhelming American defenses through sheer numbers. Imagine facing a single J-36 that's commanding 10 or 20 unmanned aircraft. That's the problem both nations are trying to create for each other. But there's one critical difference in how these programs are being developed. The United States is focused on building a smaller, highly capable fleet of F-47s supported by larger numbers of lower-cost drones. China appears to be going for both, high-quality sixth-generation fighters and the ability to mass-produce them. Reports suggest China could field the J-36 as early as 2030. That would make it the world's first operational sixth-generation fighter. The F-47 is targeting 2029 for operational capability, but that's assuming everything stays on schedule. The cost and the stakes. Let's be brutally honest. These aircraft are expensive. The F-35 costs roughly $80 million per plane. The F-22 Raptor ran about $150 million each. The F-47? Estimates put it somewhere between $160 million and $300 million per aircraft. Former Air Force Secretary Frank Kendall said the cost could reach multiple hundreds of millions of dollars per jet. Why so expensive? Because you're not just buying an airframe with engines. You're buying the most advanced sensor systems ever designed, radar-absorbent materials that cost more than gold by weight, adaptive engines that represent decades of research, and AI systems that can outthink enemy pilots. Every system is cutting edge. Every component is custom designed. Boeing's contract is worth over $20 billion just for the engineering and manufacturing development phase. When you add up 185 F-47s, plus over 1,000 CCAs, plus the weapons and support infrastructure, you're looking at a program cost that could easily exceed $200 billion over its lifetime. Some lawmakers are already asking the tough question, can we afford this? The Air Force is also developing the B-21 Raider bomber, upgrading the nuclear missile force, and modernizing satellite networks. All of these programs are competing for the same budget dollars. But here's what military planners will tell you. The cost of not building these aircraft is far higher than the cost of building them. Air superiority isn't optional. It's the foundation of everything else the military does. If you don't control the skies, you can't move troops safely. You can't conduct naval operations without constant threat from the air. Since World War II, America has enjoyed air superiority in virtually every conflict. That's not an accident. It's the result of continuous investment in staying ahead. China knows this. That's why they're pouring resources into the J-36 and other advanced systems. They're not just trying to match American capability, they're trying to surpass it. And if they succeed, The entire strategic balance in the Pacific shifts. China's approach is different. They're designing the J-36 with mass production in mind from the start. Over the past decade, China proved they can churn out advanced fighters at impressive rates. They've built over 200 J-20 stealth fighters, with production expected to exceed 800 by 2030. That's a production rate the United States hasn't matched since the Cold War. If China can do the same with the J-36, build it in large numbers while maintaining high quality, they could achieve a numerical advantage that would be difficult for the United States to counter. American jets might be individually superior, but numbers matter, especially in a potential conflict over Taiwan, where geography gives China natural advantages. Pacific chess match. Now let's zoom out and look at why this race matters so much. This isn't just about bragging rights or technical superiority. It's about who controls the Indo-Pacific, the most strategically important region on Earth. China's entire military modernization is focused on one core objective: deny the United States the ability to intervene in a Taiwan conflict. Everything they're building, aircraft carriers, anti-ship missiles, stealth fighters, hypersonic weapons, serves that goal. The J-36 is a critical piece of that puzzle. The J-36's massive range and endurance make it perfect for this mission. It could operate hundreds of miles from Chinese air bases, control large swaths of airspace, coordinate with ground-based air defenses, and direct drone swarms to attack incoming American forces. Its ability to carry long-range missiles means it could threaten U.S. aircraft while staying outside the range of their weapons. This is what military analysts call anti-access area denial. Make it so costly and dangerous for the United States to operate in the region that they can't effectively intervene. The J-36 is purpose-built for this strategy. The F-47 is America's counter. Its extended range means it can operate from more distant bases, reducing vulnerability to Chinese missile strikes. Its sensor systems and networking capability mean it can coordinate with other American aircraft, ships, and satellites to create a comprehensive picture of the battle space. And its ability to direct CCA drones gives it a massive force multiplication advantage. The vision is simple. If conflict comes, F-47s would penetrate Chinese air defenses, establish air superiority, and enable other American forces to operate safely. They'd hunt down J-36s before they could coordinate large-scale attacks. They'd suppress enemy air defenses so bombers and strike aircraft could reach their targets. In short, they'd do what American fighters have always done: own the sky. But there's a timing problem. China is moving fast. The J-36 flew 2 years before anyone expected. It's already gone through multiple test flights. By the time the F-47 takes its first flight in 2028, the J-36 could be in low-rate production. By the time the F-47 is operational in 2029, China might already have squadrons of J-36 ready to go. This timeline matters. In a crisis, whoever gets operational capability first gains crucial advantages. They set the standard everyone else has to beat. They work out the tactics and training while others are still testing. Being first isn't everything, but it's not nothing either. That's why General Alvin emphasized speed. "We've got to go fast," he said. "We have to go fast." It wasn't just rhetoric. It was recognition that every month matters. Every delay in the F-47 program gives China more time to refine the J-36, train pilots, and build more aircraft. The good news? The United States has advantages China can't easily replicate. Decades of experience building and operating stealth fighters, a pilot training system that's second to none, a network of allies across the Pacific who provide bases and support, and perhaps most importantly, combat experience that can't be gained in peacetime training. The F-22 and F-35 have been operational for years. American pilots have flown them in real-world conditions, identified their strengths and limitations, and developed tactics that work. That experience feeds directly into the F-47 program. China has no equivalent combat experience with stealth fighters. What happens next? So, where does this leave us? We're at the start of a new era in air warfare, and nobody knows exactly how it'll play out. But here's what we can expect over the next few years. 2028 is the critical year. That's when the first F-47 is scheduled to fly. Boeing is under enormous pressure to hit that deadline. Any delays will be noticed, not just by Congress and the Air Force, but by China. The world will be watching to see if the United States can deliver on its promises. Meanwhile, China will continue flying the J-36. More test flights, more refinements, more data. By 2028, they'll have 4 years of flight testing completed. That's a huge advantage. They'll know what works, what doesn't, and what needs to change. 2029 to 2030 is when things get really interesting. That's when both aircraft could become operational. We might see the first F-47s join Air Force squadrons. We might see J-36s conducting patrols over the South China Sea. For the first time in history, two rival sixth-generation fighters could be facing off, each designed specifically to counter the other. The next few years will also see massive developments in the drone programs, supporting both fighters. The Air Force is already testing CCA prototypes. Multiple companies are competing to build them. First deliveries could start as early as 2026, meaning CCA drones might be operational before the F-47 even flies. There's also the question of numbers. The Air Force says at least 185 F-47s, but many analysts think that's too few. The original plan called for 200 or more, but every additional aircraft adds billions to the cost. Congress will have to decide how many the nation can afford. Then there's the wild card, technology surprise. Both nations are investing heavily in breakthrough technologies, artificial intelligence, directed energy weapons, hypersonic missiles, quantum sensors. If either side achieves a major breakthrough in one of these areas, it could change the entire equation overnight. The race isn't just about these two jets. It's about who can innovate faster, adapt quicker, and integrate new technologies more effectively. It's about which nation can maintain the industrial base, the skilled workforce, and the research infrastructure needed to stay ahead. And ultimately, it's about ensuring that America's sons and daughters in uniform have the tools they need to do their jobs and come home safe. That's what this is really about. Not some abstract competition for bragging rights, but keeping the men and women who wear the uniform ahead of any potential adversary. The factory floor in St. Louis is buzzing because Boeing workers understand what's at stake. The engineers designing the F-47 know this is their generation's chance to build something that ensures American air superiority for decades to come. And somewhere over Chengdu, Chinese test pilots are pushing the J-36 to its limits, knowing their nation's ambitions depend on what they're flying. Outro. This is the race. This is where we are. The outcome isn't guaranteed for either side, but one thing is certain. The nation that wins this race will shape the future of air power for the next half-century. 2028 can't come fast enough. That's when we'll see if American engineering and determination can once again prove that when it matters most, nobody builds them better than we do. If this video opened your eyes to what's really happening in the skies, hit that subscribe button and the like button. We bring you the stories that matter, the ones that don't always make the headlines but impact everything. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.